And I hope it's not actually as laggy as it looks on my screen.
No, you're doing good. We're live. Hmm.
How are you
Hello.
setting up? Oh, okay. All right, hold on. Choo, choo, choo. I, okay, so are we going? I never
Mine
done it
says
this
we are
fast.
streaming live on Facebook, so
Oh,
we are live.
okay. All right. Well, we're just gonna start this off with a bang, aren't we? Thankfully, I'm not the technical officer.
That's so funny. In light of who you're
Oh,
talking to.
I know I'm the one struggling. So, hi everybody watching us live. This is Misty, the Chief Marketing, not technical, Officer of Discover Your Path U, here with our Chief Spiritual Officer, Andrea Hendron. And yeah, we're excited and waking up and ready to go this morning. And
Yeah.
I I thought it would be really neat for us to talk a little bit about, I guess, the role that spirituality can play in a coaching practice. And that's something that's so new to me. And you are so on the other end of the spectrum. You are
I
so
am. I
beautifully,
am.
beautifully spiritual.
I can't separate that part of me from who I am. That to me is who I am. So it's just natural that that would come into play in anything I do, including any kind of coaching or healing work or helping work, because that's how I see the world. So it can come into play in many different ways, depending on the level you want it to come in at. Hmm. Hmm.
And so for me personally, this stuff is all like brand new to me. Up
Hmm.
until a month or two, I kind of like I defined myself as being pragmatic. Like I was very
Hmm.
proud of I'm not spiritual. Um and hanging out with the rest of you and hearing about stuff, learning about stuff has got me curious. So I am
Right.
like the newbie in on the block with this stuff. I'm no idea yet, just learning. Sometimes I don't quite understand even what you guys
Hmm.
are
Hmm.
saying.
Well,
So
I mean, I don't want to think that it's anything you can put into a box. It's so broad and big. We're all coming from different spiritual traditions. And so you've got traditional faith, you got traditional beliefs, as well as you've got more esoteric and new age kind of practices and beliefs that are rooted in really old things as well. So it just depends on where a person is. And I'm not judging. It really doesn't matter, but it can benefit a person to expand that area of their life because there's studies now. I think Beth Gray just posted something this morning about that, about when you have a faith in something bigger than yourself, you have an easier time in life and you live longer and you have better health because you don't feel alone. You are not alone, and you are not alone. That's my knowingness. So, starting with that premise, then you can expand to all kinds of things. And if you're talking energetics, now that's a whole different topic. So, I don't know if that's where you're going or not, but if you're talking energetics, then we can add in a whole bunch of ideas and thoughts around how you could enhance a conversation or a chat or a coaching session, if you will.
I have no idea what energetics is. Can you
Hmm.
expand on
Hmm.
that a little bit for me?
Yes, I can. Um, Wayne Dyer said that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. Asian medicine has meridians, all those lines that go through the body, and they work with acupuncture, and then they work with qigong, which enhances that energy flow in the body. Um, and it's hard sometimes to find words to put to all of this. Sometimes they call it chi, sometimes they call it prana, but we have a field of energy. And I'm a Reiki teacher, and I have been for 30 years, something like that. So it's been a long time. And what is energy? To explain that to a person, it's like if I were sitting next to you, I would give you a Reiki treatment where you could feel it, where my hands would be, you know, off of your body, but there really is no distance between you and me anyway. So energy can be sent, but it is that life force that runs through us, in us, and through everything else throughout nature. It is not just in us, it's everywhere. And it continues to be a fascination for me that I know a lot, and now I know nothing, because there is so much more to learn. And the best way to approach it is with an open mind, with not the mind that is, it's got to be this way, it's got to be serious. It's got to be a playful experiment, because in all truth, we're still learning. Everybody's still learning. And yeah, best practices, playful and experimentation, lead to the best results. Actually, that's been proven, lead to the best results.
And I love that, because it's sometimes the business of helping people. I mean, it is a very serious business and we take it seriously, but
Yes, yes,
tapping into that childlike play brings a
yes.
whole different dimension to the learning. And so Reiki is one of those things that I was kind of like, it's kind of woo. And there was a thing a couple weeks ago, I think, where one of our friends was feeling really upset. She was just uncontrollably upset. And Sharon asked you to send her some Reiki and didn't
Mm-hmm,
even tell
mm-hmm.
her that it was happening, didn't even know about it. She was still absorbed in the upsetness. And 15 minutes later, she came back to us and she's like, I don't know what just happened, but my energy shifted. I'm okay now. And just calmed down. And I was like,
That's why
whoa.
we have to take it in light of in lightness and in fun, because you can't say, oh yes, I'm going to do this. It's not like that. It has to be lighthearted. It has to be in the element of the lightness of the universe, which is expansive, and miraculous things can happen like that. And then sometimes nothing happens. I think it's the openness of the person that's going to be receiving it. I really do. I don't Yeah, it's an interesting combination of both our own energy, that as a person sending it, and the person that's going to be receiving it, because we always have choice. We always have choice, whether we receive something or not, whether we heal or not. We always have choice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
I'll tell you, it made me a bit of a believer. And then we had that talk that day when I was all
mm-hmm.
crazy with other stuff, and I didn't even tell you what was going on, and you didn't even tell me what you were doing. It was just like, Andrea, can you help me center? And what did you even do? Because I felt that, and you saw exactly where I was and what was going on without me saying a word.
Yeah. That's just learning that we all need to be in this center place. And when we're not, when we find ourselves in that center place, it's easier to recognize when somebody else is not. And the intention, I'll use that word, intention is very important to when you're trying to help someone else, to set an intention. So basically, what I did for you that day was I held an intention, a playful, loving intention that wholeness would be found. And it was Reiki, and it was another healing technique that I used, but it doesn't matter. It's still, it's just, I can't say enough for setting intention, for being in presence, for being in your place of power, which is not what we think of, in playfulness. Those four things, Sharon Froschen and I are going to put to class together on them. And I think they underlie everything. They are really a powerful tool underlying Reiki, underlying a coaching practice, underlying doing cards. All of them, if you understand that you need to be in your place of power, you need to set your presence. How do you open up for a person? And yes, and playfulness, intention, they all go together. Yeah, yeah.
So that's awesome. Is that class that you guys putting together, would you consider that the like, I am brand new to all this. Where do I even start?
That is a basic class, I think, for everybody. I think it's a class for those that have started a tarot class and they want to get How do I do this now for other people? What place do I need to be in? It's not just for newbies. It would be for newbies. It can be adapted for anybody, but I think it's a powerful class for anyone, not just newbies. Yeah.
Beautiful.
One of the other things I want to mention, just as a helpful tip, that like today, before this started, I pulled out my Oracle deck. You're familiar with them. I've been playing with them this week on lives, and I use this one. And how I use them that can be helpful for people. It's like, what do I need to know that I don't know about this session that's helpful? And so when you pull a card, then it's like it gives you clarity. It gives you maybe an encouragement, maybe, oh, be mindful of this, be mindful of that. Oracle cards to me are very handy, very practical. I don't feel they can tell the future anymore, but I think they can give you hints about your day and how to best apply yourself to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because that's another area that personally my fascination has been growing, because
Mm-hmm.
we started the group, and I think it's Nicole does a card reading every
Yes.
couple of days. And then
Yes.
we had that amazing Saturday social last week where you were pulling
Oh, we
cards
all
for
pulled out
people.
cards. We all had them, and it was so fun.
It
It's
was,
fun.
oh, it was fantastic. And I was talking to my husband about it. He's like, that stuff is to try and tell the future. Is that what you're going to try and do now?
I think, there's an author, Colette Baron Reed, and I've taken some of her classes on oracle cards, and she has the ability to sense people's minds and thoughts, and so she has come to the conclusion, and she used to do tarot readings for people and for their future a long time ago. And recently she said things have changed. She does not feel, now this might be controversial, but she does not feel we can any longer do that. We can sort of predict what might happen today or tomorrow, but predicting the future, we're at choice. We have we have the power, to make decisions. And things can change because we have changed our minds. We
And
influence this field of energy that's around us by our thoughts. So that's why I think coaching is so important, because if our thoughts are that powerful, then we need to get them in alignment, because they make that much difference. Not just our words, but what's going on up here and in here.
thoughts become things. I'm rereading
They
some Mike Dooley books.
mhm. And not to be harsh on a person. I mean, we can have thoughts that are really sort of nasty. We all do. But it's how much attention do we pay them? And do we latch on to them like they're true? They don't have to be. It depends on what we want to latch on to. So,
Love that. I love it.
yeah.
And I love that. I think part of my internal resistance to the spiritual stuff, or like the cards and that,
Mhm.
is the idea that it's linked to this. Well, the card is going to tell my future, and then that's what that's going to be.
And you don't have to
Or
do anything, right? And you don't have to do anything. You and
exactly.
I
Or
have had that conversation before. And
yeah, the
yes,
universe is going to
you
provide. I'm going to go watch TV now.
have. Well, I really feel that we can be very mindful, and there's many stages along this path. Um, but no, we can't sit and do nothing. But what the something is that we do might be different for every person. That's true. I mean, for some people, it might be very much going out and working very hard. For other people, it might be sitting on the couch and visioning. So everybody's going to have a different something that they need to do, because everybody is so different. It might be an affirmation that helps somebody, and some people, affirmations and vision boards don't work at all. But everybody's got to find, I guess, if anything in my coaching, I want to stress in coming back to yourself. You know, I don't ever want to tell you what is right and wrong. You know. And I want to lead that person back to their own sensing ability, their ability to what does feel right. Because I think that's been pounded out of us. It's been pounded out of us. Our schooling, our how we do anything and everything, even our handwriting. I was reading a book on handwriting, and we were taught a certain way to write. Even our writing, if we loosen up with that, separate some of the letters, don't connect them all, make it flow better. We're doing what it's in hypnosis, it's called trance. We're doing what somebody else has told us to do instead of following what would come naturally to us. So it's time to break those cycles, time to um, find something that's lighter and brighter and really change up our lives.
That's beautiful. And that is so much the foundation of what we're doing with DipU is finding that all of you and exploring it and getting curious and playful and embracing not being that like cookie cutter.
No such thing as that anymore. Nope.
You tried to do that at one point, didn't you? There was a while where you were kind of, all I can
Yes.
think of is like this little light of mine, like hiding it.
Yes. Yes. Heretofore, you and I were part of a group of coaches that where we tried to keep track of each other and accountability. And you saw it. You saw me trying to figure out, how do I do this? How do I be me and do this? And it was very depressing for me not to have this spiritual side come out. I had to let it out. It was making me sad, very almost depressed, sad. It was like, no, I cannot do it the way maybe traditional coaching is. And that's fine. Everybody that does traditional coaching, that's cool. That's cool. But it can't be for me because this is who I am. I have to include. And even if I include a prayer for someone or I include a meditation for someone that's short, something that uplifts him, maybe I'll call on a spiritual master or teacher. All those things are in my toolbox because that's who I am. And I'm all for bringing in all the help I can to help a person move and shift.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's been beautiful watching you the last couple of weeks doing your lives in the group and coming to things like the social and everything else. And I don't know, it's like watching you spread your wings and just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna celebrate this with all of you. Everybody come play with me.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what it is. It is play. It is life. Sharon Frosch and I have talked a lot about this. Life is not meant to be this hard. And when it is hard, talk to me because it's not supposed to be this hard. There is such a thing as grace and ease and a way to find a way out of it. And yeah, there are tough times. Oh my God, tough times that people go through. I know that. I know that. But let's find a new way today and moving forward. That's lighter. Yeah, ease and grace are my words, lighter. Yeah.
And they're beautiful words.
Yeah. Well, they have depth to them. Yeah, it doesn't take away from anybody's story, but I like to put that story where it belongs. You know, it's not your future.
And I love when you said, if the traditional coaching is for you, good for you. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's like so much the heart of who we are. Like if that's what you want to do, knock
Right.
yourself out, man. If you want to do Reiki, if you want to do this, if you want to learn about all of it, and like you said, it's a tool. It goes in your tool belt and
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
one more thing. And
Right. Right.
it's it's amazing when you surround yourself with people that embrace who they are.
It
And
is a wonderful experience. It is being with people that are not judging is one of the most astounding experiences of my whole life. To be part of Zen 10, to be part of this group of creative individuals, each with their own talents, coming together to attempt to make something better, attempt to give a voice to people that want to teach, an opportunity to take classes and become certified. And yeah, this is awesome. This is a good path.
it's a very good path. We've all, I've been so excited the last week. I'm like levitating. So Now you have a workshop next week, or not a workshop, you're doing a live and interactive thing in our group on visioning.
I am. I am. I'm going to do that on Monday. And yeah, it's going to be live rather than a Zoom group. It's going to be live. Um, and they can ask questions. I'm going to show them different methods of visioning that they can employ. I do a different kind of vision board that is more intuitive. And I also want to talk about future visioning, how you might do that. There's like 4 different aspects of it that I thought would be fun to
Wow.
bring out. So we can explore those. And yeah, if they meet me there at the right time, we can have a good time talking back and forth. I will try and answer as best I can. I'm getting better at it, answering Facebook questions.
If you want, I'll help you out. I'll ping you questions on the side or something if you
Okay,
miss any of them.
sounds good.
Awesome. So I'm excited. I'm so excited to see what you create in the platform and what everybody creates. And I think I'm going to be like one of the biggest students of some of this stuff because it's the curiosity is there now. I mean,
It's
how
curiosity is key here. Curiosity is key. It's like if there's anything that leads you to something, it is curiosity. It's a little bit of like, huh, what's that? And that's curiosity. And I think you need to follow that. That is one of the tools I was speaking of, is that people need to come back to themselves so that they can figure out how they're being led. Because each of us has an internal guidance system. We are being led. If we can get clear enough, we know, oh, this looks like fun. Let's try this. And it leads to something more. For myself, I did a live on out of No Way, No How, Nowhere from A Way is Made. It was from Dr. Michael Beckwith. And if I look at myself where I was at the end of last year and where am I at now, that is so true. This did not come up because I dreamt up this last year. It came up. I can explain that in some of my visioning, but it came up because I think because of some of my visioning that I did. And this is better than I could have dreamed of. Mm.
it's awesome. So I'm excited to go to the workshop and or the live. I don't know
Live,
what to
yeah.
call that format. I haven't heard of
Well,
it done
I
much before. I don't think
don't.
I have a name for it.
Of course, Andrea had to do it different. Of course, I had to do it different.
That's part of what's beautiful about you, darling. Don't it's a chat with Andrea. We'll do it
Yeah,
that way
yeah, yeah.
on Monday. So we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you so much, honey, for talking to
You are
me.
welcome. Thank you, my dear.
I love getting to know you better through this whole process, and you particularly have just opened my mind so much. So I cannot wait till we open our doors and unleash you on a community of students because they're all going to be like, let's get out some Legos and play. And
Right. And what I feel about our group is let me walk with you. It's not just taking a class. It is I will walk with my students and everybody else will walk with who they've got to work with. You're not going to be left alone. There will be ways that we can touch base, keep in touch, um, help you after you've taken the class. Yeah.
I think that's one of the coolest things about the way we've set up the platform is the teachers are part of the community. It's not that we're setting the instructors up on high and they're unreachable and they just put down knowledge and you absorb it and that's
Right.
it. The instructors are part of the community just like everybody else is. And
Yeah.
it's
That's that aspect of power that I think Sharon and I are going to speak of. It's like, what is true power? And true power is not being more than or better than anybody else or making somebody less than you. You're on equal footing, and that is your place of power. That's the place you can really make a difference. And that's what I see our platform doing is being in that place of power, making everybody um, respected. Yeah,
beautiful. Can't wait.
it'll be good. It will be good.
It's gonna be amazing. Well, thank you so much, Andrea,
Oh,
for talking with me
nice
this
chatting
morning.
with you, Misty. Very
It's
nice
been
chatting.
fun. And I'm going to be watching your lives, and then we talk every day anyway.
Yeah,
So
we do.
thank you, everybody that watched. Please make sure that you are following our page. We have, I think, over a dozen or more events going on next week. And if you're not following the page, you might miss something awesome. And join the group where Andrea goes live every morning with her soul chats. She's doing card draws, and Monday is that visioning discussion. So make sure that you join our group so that you don't miss a beat, and you can experience how amazing this lady is as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Now
righty.
I have to find the button. Hold on a second. Stop